Welcome to the Unfiltered Duo podcast. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is how the unfiltered chaos makes sense.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Cheryl.
I would say, how was your weekend? But I spent the whole weekend with you.
That's true. This is what, day 5? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesday, day 4 of us being together.
Yes. Got to go camping. We were supposed to record during camping. We didn't do that.
We didn't.
That's all right.
Yeah, it was so fun. I was just like, let's just enjoy.
It was a good getaway. And the weather held up, no rain. So I was happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was still chilly. Oh.
It was not, I think, the escape that you had hoped it would have been.
I know. I wish it would have been the weather that was the weekend before because it was really hot. So I had high hopes that the weather would do it again, but it didn't.
Nope.
So
yeah.
Welcome to the north.
Yeah. I know. That's why when you said you wanted to go to the beach, I was like, there's no beach in May. Like, what is she talking about?
Like, you could go and sit. Well, we did get to go walk it, but
we did.
And other people were enjoying it. I was not going to participate in getting in the water, though.
No, my toes touched the water and I was done.
Yeah.
It was too much.
So happy late Memorial Day.
Yes.
To everybody listening.
Thanks to all of those who have served and given their life for our country. We definitely are supporters of military and everything that you guys do. So thank you for your service.
Especially my hubby.
Yes. But this weekend was kind of like an interesting study between everyone who went because of how extroverted some of us are and how introverted some of us are and how we overlap.
Yeah. And how it kind of pulls opposites attract kind of thing.
Very much so. Because I would say out of the group, like your husband is very stereotypical extrovert.
Yes. He is an attention whore. That's what I label him as. So, and he owns it. So he's not upset. But yeah, he is the most extroverted one out of the 4 of us.
Very much so. Like, he is definitely always in to be there and be loud.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I'm like, stop drawing attention to us.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down.
Shh, done. I've had enough. I'm going to go in the other room. You stay here. Oh, but that's my version of how I would act. It's not how you do. You are always very supportive of him.
Yeah. I think he pulls that extrovert side out of me, so it helps.
It does help. No, I think he pulls it out of a lot of people just because he does have that fun nature to him. So
his energy makes all of us decide to be loud sometimes.
Which is interesting because one of the articles I read said that when introverts decide to be more extroverted, they often end up happier.
Oh.
So maybe that's what that's not a word. It should be attracts or draws. It's not atras like that.
Right.
It didn't work.
You're making up your own dictionary.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's your own planet.
Yeah, but I could have kept going and you would have been like, I didn't know atras was a word.
Right? I would have been like, okay, maybe that's true. The knowledge of Carrie.
Yes. Making stuff up as I go. But maybe that's why, like, when the old saying of opposites attract, maybe that's really like how it works.
I think so. But I think some like introverts or extroverts, like they don't surround themselves by the opposite because they just do not want to put up with it. Mm-hmm. They want to keep that energy away from them.
No, that's true too.
Yeah.
Like, and often I think extroverts and introverts don't understand each other. Like when you get the extremes of the situation, like those who are super outgoing they have no clue why that person is just sitting by themselves, or why that person won't come
Right.
out and go bowling or whatever.
Sometimes it can be mistaken too as like being prude or rude or unsocial, and I don't think that's what they're trying to do as an introvert, but that to an extrovert or an extreme extrovert, it probably looks like that.
No, definitely. I think so. They're interesting. It's interesting dynamic when you put it all together and try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, why we're drawn to that topic.
Right. And we took a quiz.
We did take a quiz.
I found that quiz and I was like, let's see what we are, but I'm 50-50. So, which I kind of thought anyways, because I have tendencies of both. It depends on the environment I'm in.
Yeah. And I got like, it was 65-35 or 60-40, where I am more introverted than I am extroverted.
Which I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. Do you think that you've always been that way?
I actually think now the 40% of introvert, or no, it's 60%, whatever. Hold on.
Mine's easy because it's at 50-50.
I know. I was like, wait. But no, it didn't always used to be that way. I used to be that kid who in high school they would turn to me and be like, "Oh, hey," and introduce themselves to me, and I'd be like, "I've known you since second grade. I've been in your second. Yeah, it's been 10 years, Karen."
Right?
Like,
I think of the girl off of oh gosh, Pitch Perfect, where she's like so quiet and everybody's like, wait, what did she say? Where did she come from?
that's pretty much who I was in high school. Like, if you remember me from high school, hi, I'm still around. I like,
Take a look back in that yearbook.
Yeah, if I was even in the yearbook, I mean, who even knows?
I don't know.
Like, really introverted people, I could care less that I was in the yearbook.
That's
Like, and you want me to sign what? Huh?
What? No.
Why?
Oh no, I was definitely like signing, but also like didn't want to bother somebody to sign it. I waited for them to say, "Hey, let me sign." It's because I was like, I don't want to be that pushy person that's like, "Hey, sign," because then it's like they're signing for no reason.
Right.
They're just doing it because you asked.
Right.
So I stayed more quiet about it, but I was open to it.
I introverted so hard that I've actually like never even been a bridesmaid for anyone.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. The only person I've ever been a bridesmaid for is my sister, and kind of it's by default.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
How many? I've been a bridesmaid. 1, 2, 3. Like I'm not gonna call names because if I forget somebody.
Are you like the 27 Dresses movie?
No, not that bad. There's been 3 to 5, I think. I'm trying to think. Yeah. No, 4. I just remembered another one. Okay, now I'm thinking I'm more like 4 to 6. There's probably a couple that like just on the spot I can't think of. But
Yeah. So no, I was definitely your classic introvert. There was
makes me reevaluate my younger self now. Because I wouldn't say I was introverted. I just wasn't looking for conversation with everybody. I was fine with sticking to the people that I knew, and I didn't seek out more people.
Mm-hmm.
They usually had to seek me out.
Now it's probably the sign that you're more extroverted than you think.
Maybe so.
You've tempered back a little bit as you've grown up.
Yeah, definitely. Like now it's like more, I don't know. Yeah, definitely probably over the years.
And that's so funny because yet again, we probably wouldn't have been friends.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I would have come up to you.
Which I think that's so interesting because, like, and we'll probably talk about this through multiple episodes just because it is part of your life. Or was part of your life. It's part of your journey.
Mhm.
So being a Mormon, I could not imagine walking up door to door to talk to strangers. So I feel like that would kind of make you more extroverted because you would learn how to be in any kind of social setting and talk and not feel embarrassed or like you're intruding or
Mhm.
maybe talking to people that don't want to talk to you.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, even still, like, before me now, like, I'm not going to approach people and just talk to them in a social aspect. If I'm at a gathering and it's not with people that I already know everybody there, or let's say I know even 50% of the people there, I'm pretty much a mouse and I just sit
Hmm.
and I'm quiet.
Hmm. Yeah, I having to serve a mission, you have to be extroverted. There's no way you can get through it. And at the beginning, and I spoke a foreign language, so it wasn't English speaking. At the beginning of it, you are pretty timid just because you have that language barrier and
Mm-hmm.
you're stumbling over your words. You're trying to put grammar together. Like you're trying to do all of these things. Like I remember the first time that like the grammar actually came out of my mouth in like the really appropriate way. And I was like, oh,
I did that.
I know. I was like, I didn't even care about the person I was talking to. I
Yeah.
was like, I used grammar. So like it was I was so focused on that at the beginning that I didn't really care who I was talking to. Like I was more focused about my own experience.
I would have probably busted that too. I would have been like, oh my gosh, I just said that right, didn't I? But then I'd be speaking in English. They wouldn't know what I was
Right,
saying.
yeah,
So it would have been
yeah, you've
not.
blown your cover. You
I
hit
know.
the
I would have been so excited. They would have probably got scared.
yeah. Um, so that was like the big hurdle at the beginning was just getting over any sort of language barrier. But once I got over that and really started to talk to people, yeah, there you had to be extroverted. You had to get over that. I mean, there were days you woke up that you didn't want to do it, but you felt forced to go do it. So it was like you just got up and got out there, and then you tried your best, but sometimes your best was just not getting angry at people.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if you're introverted, but you're putting yourself out there extroverted, and then if you get shut down, see, I think that's the reason why I in don't engage with strangers because I'm just like I don't want to say something, and then you're like, eh, she's a fucking idiot, and keep going. And so I just don't say anything.
Right. Which is interesting because one of the questions on the quiz that we took was I'll read it. When a stranger talks to me, I consider it an opportunity to make a connection. And then you would either have to disagree or not, or agree with it.
Oh, I totally disagree.
So you disagree. So when a stranger talks to you, you do not consider it an opportunity to make a connection.
No. Maybe to answer a question if they have one. Or maybe like if you're at the grocery store and I've had people, like they'll say something like, oh my gosh, these lines are so long. And I'll be like, yeah, they are. And that's about it. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to like, hi, how are you today?
Right. And so on the flip side, when I read that question, I was like, why would a stranger be talking to me? Like, like,
What kind of situation would make me
yeah,
have to speak to them?
like, ooh. But I also thought before I disagreed or agreed with it that sometimes I am the stranger, that I have to go up and talk to someone, but I do it very selectively because I have to think, what can that stranger add to my life for me to go talk to them?
True.
Like, what is the value add in that stranger? Like, if I, and this is probably going to sound awful of me to say, but
No
like,
judgment.
no judgment, we don't judge here, but it's like, what value add is that person going to bring to my life? Like, what do they have that's
Probably
going to add
absolutely
value?
nothing.
And that's why I'm selective about it.
Yeah. Like it could be like if you're asking for directions,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't have a problem approaching someone, but it's got to be a certain person for me to ask. Like I'm also selecting who I'm going to ask. They got to look like they may have the correct answer first off, or like it's maybe they work wherever I'm at that moment, whether it's a gas station, a store, anywhere like that. Like I have to feel comfortable and be like, okay, I can ask,
Right.
but I'm not going to ask a random stranger anything or try to
Yeah.
engage.
And normally that is my MO as well. Like I won't typically engage with strangers. Um, but I've proven myself wrong many times lately. Like when we were in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so we took a trip a few like months ago now, 2 months ago.
March?
Yeah,
Yeah,
beginning of
March.
March. And you all had to work during the day and I didn't. And so I was like, well, off I go. I'm going to find, it was a Carrie wander moment. I could just wander wherever I went. And my mom had sent me on a task to go find a certain slot machine. So she had given me directions to the slot machine, but it was so far away. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get there. And it was just a lot. And so I walked past the casino that was right next to us and I saw a similar machine. But that was my mistake is I paused because one of those people that stand outside the casino was there. And those people are like 1,000% extroverted.
Yes.
There is no introversion among them.
No.
At all, ever. If you're out on the sidewalk in Vegas, you are not introverted.
No. And if they are, I would be shocked. Right. They have to be taking drugs or something to make themselves extroverted.
Correct. There is issues. So anyway, the lady standing out there said something to me, and I took it as an opportunity to get what I wanted out of the stranger. And I asked her if, like, I didn't want to go in her casino if she didn't have the slot machine I was looking for.
Right.
And so she approached me and I told her what I was looking for. And she was like, oh, yeah, it's in the back. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So I wander in. Sure enough, there it was. I played my $20 in the slot machine. I won $18 back. Yay. And I was like, I'm done. And like checked out. And as I was walking out, like 4 men approached me and tried to get me to do other things. And I said no and ran away from them. Good and so I know.
Those strangers that came and talked to you.
I know. But also, they were not adding value to my life.
No.
So
they might have taken your life.
Yeah, I know. So that's how I ended that journey. But then later on in the day, we passed her again, and we were like, "Hey, how you doing?"
She remembered you. She's like, "Hey." I was like, "What? When did you meet her?" She did not look like somebody you'd be talking to. So I was like, who is she and where did she come from?
I know. And you guys were very confused. But that's part of letting me wander around sometimes is I get into situations that you guys are confused about.
And probably in that moment, I would have searched and searched, and then I would have been frustrated. Then I would have found somebody to ask.
Yeah.
Like, I even go to, like, Walmart or, like, if I'm grocery shopping or something, I'll pop my AirPods in. I am not paying attention to anybody. I'm just doing my thing.
So really you are just oblivious to the world and you're just going on your path.
No. I've had people say, I saw you and I waved at you. You didn't wave back. And I was like, when did you see me? Where was I at? What day was this?
So that's not even a stranger. That's
no, that can be like people I know. And I'm in my own world, doing my own thing, not paying attention to anybody. That's good and bad. Good because then I don't have to put up with other people. It's bad because if I do know the person, then it looks like I'm being a bitch.
Right. Yeah. But also, like, if you're not expecting to run into someone, like you that's giving yourself
like,
the
you
opportunity.
Looked right over at me. I'm like, there's no way I looked at you. Yeah. I was probably looking at something near you.
But now that I say it, is that like the introverted part of us that's just like, I'm not going out to like be socially engaged. And so you go out purposefully to be like in an introverted moment.
Yes, I set up my surroundings with my AirPods to be in my introvert time.
And you're not even looking for social engagement, so you won't see
No,
the person.
no.
Have you ever ran from people you did see?
Of course, who hasn't? Who hasn't seen somebody and if you didn't make eye contact, it's like whoop.
Who?
I've done that. If anybody says that they haven't done it, they're liars.
They are liars.
They can't be trusted.
Because I think I've seen people do it from me.
Oh God, not from you, Carrie.
Like, there they go. Didn't want to see me. Funny. But
No, I've
yeah.
seen people though that they haven't made eye contact with me either, and I'm like, maybe they don't see me, so I try to drift away and not make such a like quick exit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will say 80% of the time I am not paying attention.
And like often in those situations, I'm like, well, what if they don't want to be bugged right now?
Yeah.
You know?
And when's the last time I saw that person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, but most of the time I'm just in my own little world
Yeah.
and I like it.
And I think it's like fine to be in your own little world. There's nothing saying
Mm-mm.
like you have to engage every time you see someone.
I wonder sometimes though if it's like, I think I do that for social anxiety reasons too, though. Like I don't like to be in unfamiliar territory. And let me explain that. I've been to Walmart 1,000 times, but every time that you go, there's other like different people every time. So what I tend to do is just like retract and don't engage. And so yeah.
Hmm. So, do you find yourself able to think through like the potential of like those engagements, like when you are going out to get over like your social anxiety, if you plan a social time, do you feel like you think through
Like I'm
the
thinking about it right now and I feel like my neck, I'll get blotchy if I get social anxiety. It's bad. It's embarrassing. I'm
oh
just going to put it out there. Anybody that has it, they know. And if somebody calls it out, then it makes it worse. So I feel like I'm making it worse right now, even talking about
thinking
it.
about it?
Like I'm thinking about the whole situation.
And like what situations do you think bring out that social anxiety? Just having to have discussions you don't want, to see people you might not want to see? Like, what do you think about that social anxiety? Like, what is it?
All of the above.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can like it can come on and it's not a social anxiety thing. It could be like we're out having drinks and it'll happen and I think it's like maybe I don't know, a hormone imbalance. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
So there is other things that trigger it, but like the social anxiety part, like it's like people that I don't know, that makes me nervous. Um, Settings that I'm not familiar with, so like I will analyze the entire building that I'm standing in because like I want to know the exits. I want to know what who's there. Do I see anybody I may know?
Hmm.
But I'm not like that though if I know majority of the people. Then I feel comfortable and I'm like, oh, I already know these people. And if I don't know like a handful of them, it doesn't matter.
Hmm. I think, I don't know if I get that social anxiety. I think I get situational anxiety
I think
versus.
our hamster wheels are running because I just watched you do the same thing I did. Like we're like thinking and staring off like, do I do that?
I don't think I do that. Like, I know. Well, I hope this inspires other people to think about their own,
Mm,
like being extroverted and introverted, and how the social anxiety works into
yeah,
whether they are introverted or extroverted.
yeah.
Because it's like when I go places, I don't like, I am usually like, I'll enter a room and I will be in charge of who I am in that room. And so I don't get that anxious moments. I don't know if that's the best way to term that or
I think I
feel
get
it.
what you're saying though.
Yeah, it's just like I can control any situation I'm in. Like I don't have to worry about other people's social needs or that or this, that, or the other. So like I don't know, maybe that control helps me with social anxiety, but it also lets me control if I'm introverted or extroverted. Like, and that's
Yeah.
where I try to find that balance.
Yeah. Because if people meet me at like a function that they may know me but know that I don't know anybody, they will see a different side of me versus if I know everybody. If I know everybody, who knows what's going to come out of my mouth or what I'm going to do is because I'm just more extroverted in that situation because I feel more comfortable. I feel more in my element versus if I'm not, I'm like, maybe smile. How much longer are we going to be here? What time can we leave?
Which is like, I don't know if I've seen you in those situations. Like, I think as
Mm-mm.
a friend group, like, we've really just, I mean, you hang out with friends and
Yeah, no.
like you
It's
never,
definitely only if I'm somewhere that I know less than 10% of the people.
hmm.
Then I'm like, I'm kind of ready to leave. Like, I'm good for a little bit. I will stay for a little bit because Scott's extroverted. So, of course, he's wanting to stay for as long as it is. And I'm like, okay. But he's learned that once he sees, like, I'm getting, anxious or I look down at my watch, he's like, okay, that's my cue that you're ready to go.
So the give and take of your relationship supports your introversion and
Yes.
extroversion. That's nice. Good,
Yeah, I can take him
good
anywhere and he'll
balance.
talk to anybody.
Can you though?
It's like a freaking
Can
golden
you take?
retriever out here just running around,
No.
talking to anybody.
Oh, it is funny though because like from behind the scenes, there was a friend um, that I used to hang out with on a social situation, like in a social level, and I didn't really know them in a professional manner.
Oh,
Like you know
yeah.
your friends in social situations, and you know a lot more about them and their personality. But when you throw them into a professional situation, they put on a professional aura about them. And so when I saw this friend, he invited me to be a photographer at an event he was doing.
Oh, Lord.
And so I'm like a people watcher anyway, as a photographer, just to get the interactions and like there's certain people I needed to get with certain people and like waiting for like different social things to happen to get the pictures of them. And so all of a sudden I look over and I see him and he has like this little lady and he's got her arm and he's like walking her to a table and like sat
Aw.
her down. He was very nice. And I'm like, I didn't picture that person. Like I'm what? He's being nice.
Right?
So like
Like, there's two sides of you.
I
You're like a
know.
little coin flipping around.
Yeah, so that's what I think of like Scott. Like I know him and you in a very like fun friend way, but like
Oh,
professionally,
professionally,
like
though, you got to see us at his promotion.
oh, that's true.
So, like, that would be a professional setting. And I think Scott does kind of like pull back a little bit on his extrovert whenever he's just so that he's not overpowering the ones that don't want it.
Well, and that was a
He's got a
day.
shot collar on that
It was a day
day.
all about him too.
That is
So he was in his element.
true. He had all attention on him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I was the photographer that day too,
that is
and
true.
yeah, like definitely had to pay attention to him.
Yes. Yes.
um, Well, that's another thing. I think that quiz, didn't the quiz have a question along the lines of how long you stay at a location?
Yes, it did. Because
Yes.
whenever I saw that, I was like, oh, I do that.
Yeah, let's
I
see.
definitely, depending on where it's at, I'm definitely questioning what time we're leaving.
Yeah, you said that earlier
Yep.
that you were like looking at your watch
So that was
to
one of the
like,
questions.
yeah. And for me, I do the same thing when I'm in like a forced big group situation.
Right.
There's my introvert like literally like coming out of my mouth. Like I am
That's the
forced.
settings. That is the settings that I don't like to be in.
Right.
I'm forced into, an environment I'm not really wanting to go to.
Right.
Well, not that I don't want to go
Yeah, it's
to
not
it
a
or be
bad
supportive
force.
of whatever it is. It's like I don't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And those are the moments where like I'll go and I'll be perfectly pleasant. I will talk to people. I have good conversations. You laugh at jokes. You do all, you do all the things that are socially expected of you.
Right.
But I do like count down the time until I can like get my favorite people and leave.
Yes. I
So
had
yeah,
mine one
I
day.
know
It's
that's
fine.
okay. Oh well. But yeah, you pick your favorite people
Yeah.
and you try to like convince them to come with you out of the big
Oh,
social
yeah.
situation.
No, I have done that before. If it's only a handful of people that I know, I'm like, where could we go after this? And then I'll like figure out a plan. And then I'll start like trying to recruit the ones that I know to go along with my plan. Be like, y'all ready to leave? You want to go here?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just start pulling everybody. I'm like, okay, let's go.
It's time now. So yeah, the question was, then we can just let our viewers decide. But the question officially was, when I go to a party, I often think about how early it would be appropriate to leave. And so, yeah, we get into a situation and we start thinking, okay, is now a good enough time? Yes, welcome. Welcome, sir.
Fat Cat
Um,
is coming into the
yes, welcome.
element. He's like, hello,
I know. Would you
I'm
like
going
to
to come get your
sit down?
computer.
You can sit down if you want. So yeah, how often or how early would it be appropriate to leave the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's,
That's,
you know, I didn't think I don't think I've ever thought about how appropriate it would be to leave a situation. It's more like how appropriate is it? Can I convince these people to leave the situation?
right. How early?
Right.
Will other people follow?
Which you made a comment earlier about how, not in the podcast earlier, before we were talking, about how you like to have people at your place.
Yes. So a lot of people will peg me as an extrovert because I like to host events at my house. I like to um, I guess have parties at my own house. And secretly though, it's my plan to have everybody come to my house because then I'm in my element and it makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of selfish, but it's okay.
It's fine.
Like I'm not hurting anything.
No, I don't. Yeah, and like it's fine because like at this point in our relationship, like mi casa y su casa,
Yeah.
and it's we can just hang out wherever.
We
Like,
flip flop back and forth and I feel comfortable.
yeah.
So the people that I feel really comfortable with, I can go back and forth and I don't
Mm-hmm.
worry so much. But like if it's gonna be a gathering, I'm like, y'all just come to my house.
Right. But I will say I go to situations like that and I'll be at somebody's house and it isn't always someone I'm close with,
Mm-hmm.
if there's anything. And I get to the point where I'm like, again, how can I get my favorite people to come with me out of this situation?
You're recruiting friends out of another friends.
I'm like, this is too many. So
Too many folks.
how do I get less people?
Mm-hmm.
But then I get more interaction with the people I like. So I don't know. I don't know
I
how
think
that
that's
works
how
out.
people end up with smaller circles though too.
Yeah.
Because not that I've always hung out with huge crowds, but like I've had like big groups that we would do stuff with sometimes. And I think definitely after COVID hit, and I think that really took a turn on me. Because even getting out of the house to go to the grocery store, I have to mentally like think about like, okay, what time is this going to be? Do I want to go? How many people are going to be there? Could I put it off till tomorrow? Because my life 360 will literally, I'll be at my house for like 3 or 4 days without leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy about it. But then I also fall into like a hole and I need to get out and I need to do stuff. And I recognize that. And then I'm like, okay, Cheryl, get out.
Yeah. Which I will often be jealous of that because like I am a substitute teacher and I'm a long-term sub. So like I have to get out of the house. Like
That's
I
the
don't
reason why I would never
have
do
a
that.
choice. Well,
I work from home. Everything
so
is from my house. The only time I have to leave, like my kids are older, so the only time I have to leave is if I gotta go to the store, doctor's appointment. I I have no reason to leave the
I
house.
know. And like here I am. I leave the house before 7 o'clock every morning to get to
Mm-mm.
work. And
I'm not even up at that time.
well, and like I was thinking about it just right now, but like the kids that I teach probably think I'm a massive extrovert
Probably.
because you have to
You should
get up
ask
there.
them.
I should.
You could bring the topic up to the class and just
Yeah.
be like, have you ever heard about this? Like,
Yeah.
because depending, I know their age, but like they may or may not
Right.
know what that is. And
Yeah. Give them a little lesson
it's
about.
almost the end of the school year, so
Yeah.
give them something fun
I
to talk
know.
about.
We've been talking about space a lot, and I know you got a lot of my space lessons this
Yes,
weekend.
it made the road trip go faster.
It did. Oh, I know. That's another moment where Scott was like, entertain, like he was
Carrie,
driving.
entertain
I know. He was like,
us.
Harry, entertain us. And I was like, well, I've got stuff to talk about.
You have so much, like, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's absolutely a positive way. You have a lot of sometimes knowledge, but also useless knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's stuff that we may or may not know. And I'm like, go ahead, tell me more. And when did you find this out? And how did you find this out? Who told you about that?
I know. Like you did
Where'd you
ask.
read this?
I know you asked me a question. You're like, did you just get up and talk about it? I'm like, well, yeah. I just get up there and start talking.
I'm like, no.
But it was really cute today because I was doing a lesson about black holes with the kids. And we were talking about formation, different types, like this, that, and the other. And I was talking about something, and one little boy raised his hand and he goes, so will the sun ever become a black hole? They're thinking, they're all like
Aw.
thinking. And I go, interesting, you should ask that. And I clicked for the next slide, and it was like, will the sun ever become a black hole?
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I was like, ha, I've led you all into my trap.
Yes.
Like you're.
I bet he was excited though. It's because he was like, yes.
I know he was, and it was so cute. Like I think that's the moments where like my extrovert comes out, is because I love learning. And
Yes,
like if
I would definitely say that.
yeah, and like if I can help other people feel that love of learning,
Yeah.
that's where I try to make it exciting, and I'm animated and I'll talk about things and like I'll really get into it. So that's probably where I am most extroverted, is if I get to share something I've learned about.
It's a passion.
Yes.
If it's passionate for you, then yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's my most extroverted moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know any? Well,
Here we go.
now I'm like thinking. I'm like, okay, have you, so I'm thinking about like people that you meet along the way in your life. Outside of school, like I know that I went to school with certain people that were very, very introverted. And I knew that, like, you could just tell it about them, and that's completely fine whenever you understand the difference of like how people's personalities are. But I've never been friends with someone that was like a total introvert, like, did not at any moment have extrovert tendencies. Have you ever came across, and you do not have to name names, it can be a family member, a friend, just like you got to know them better than a stranger at the bar or something, like.
Yes.
So
I can pick at least one person in my life that is a, the biggest introvert I have ever met.
okay.
So, I mean, yes, they will not seek out social situations. And even in social situations that, like, I've known this person my entire life, like, little kid. And they have never once, like, sought out social situations. And anytime that I did hear that they would do something kind of like out and about, it was more like they were just there to watch. Like they weren't there.
They're people watchers. I do like to people watch.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Right.
I even make up little stories about them.
But yeah, they like literally, I even having conversations with them as well as I knew them. And
Yeah.
like I don't interact with them much anymore, but I still like know them
You know
kind of
them,
thing.
yeah.
But even now it's just like they don't really engage in social situations. Like even with people they've known as well as they've known like a me for my whole life kind of thing.
I don't even think, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there because I don't think I have anybody like this. But even my family, like you've met a lot of my family. We are
Mm-hmm.
not introverted folks at
No,
all.
no.
If anything, I've had to explain to them why you are standing back and watching and that you're not trying to be creepy, that you're just trying to get the lay of the land of what's going
She'll
on and
talk.
who people are. Like you just got through in the lion's den of all these people and you're just trying to absorb like who people are and the dynamic and probably just kind of like people watching, personality watching.
Yeah, it's like how like where does my personality fit into the mix? And
Yeah.
where will I best be fit? And where am I not going to say something that's going to make someone mad at me? Like I don't want to get people mad at
Yeah.
me. And like I know like
Especially in new settings. Like you
yeah,
don't,
I
yeah.
don't want to offend
Yeah.
people. So, and I mean, I don't think I've ever said anything that's really that offensive. And like,
I think you're
I
a pretty
try to
pleasant
be,
person.
yeah, I
So,
try to be pretty even keeled about things. But yeah, so no, that's, I know because when you first met Brian and I, like,
mm-hmm.
you thought I was the quiet one and
Yes.
Brian was the talker.
Right. He was like more chatty.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more I got to know you, I was like, I might have this wrong. Maybe it's that she's more extroverted than he is.
Which I, when I started dating him, I definitely thought he was the bigger extrovert. Like he had the social circle, he was life of the party, whereas like I was not the life of the party.
You were standing back to watch the life of the parties.
Yeah, no, I played Xbox games in people's basements where I didn't really
That
have to
does not
talk to
sound
people.
creepy one bit.
I know it doesn't, but it was those old parties where you had to actually physically hook up the Xboxes
Oh
so that you
yeah.
could play. It wasn't online play.
Mm.
So we had a group of it was all men and me. Like there were no women.
Oh, that was totally safe.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
Did you take your rape whistle?
no,
You
because
should have.
they were all Mormons and
Um,
half of them were married.
that does not mean
It
anything.
doesn't, but
In
I
your mind, though, you felt like it
yes,
did.
I
But
felt safe.
anytime that you're with
And
a
the
big group
guy,
of men, you're the only
I
female. It's like,
know, but I also beat all of them at the games.
oh,
So
that
yeah.
is true. I did get to watch you do that while we
Mm-hmm.
were in Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, I was not expecting you to play Guitar Hero like a pro, and I'm over here on beginner, and I was like, how how long did this
What are you
happen?
doing?
When did how'd you get this good? When did you play this?
Yeah. No, I'm a gamer at heart. I love video games. But that's also another introverted thing that people,
Mm-hmm.
introverts just sit on their games and play like games. But yeah, so that was my college years is I hung out in the guy's basement that I was with. He was married and I nannied his kids.
Oh, this
So
just gets better and better. You are just throwing yourself
I know.
out there for
I know.
so many.
But I'm actually like really good friends with his wife. So hi Erica. I know you're watching.
That's okay. I did
So
not mean offensively.
no, it's okay. I mean, she's been a good friend. Like when I had my first child, she came and brought me flowers in the hospital.
Oh
And so, no, she's been a really solid friend for all these
no.
years. And I've watched those kids grow up and they're
Oh.
married and one of them has a baby.
Oh, that
And
no
I know. Sorry.
age.
Right. We're old. But anyway, that was my introverted life. Like I was not the life of the party. I hid in people's faces. So yeah.
That
And there was no like drinking involved because we didn't drink.
and no sunlight.
Mm-mm. We were all pale
Oh.
vampires.
Mm-mm.
Hid in people's basements. So no, I was not loud. I did not thrive for people's attention.
Yeah.
Have you been in a situation where you have like thrived for people's attention?
No, absolutely not. I don't need anybody's attention. Like I fully do not want to have everybody focused on me.
Like even as a teenager? Like
Mm-mm.
no.
No, no. I was outgoing. I'm not gonna say I wasn't outgoing. And maybe I'm comparing myself to Scott because he vocally, like, attention whore status was extremely high. So in my mind, I didn't look like that. But I could carry on like conversations like what we're doing. I would enjoy doing that more, like with one or two, three people, and just sitting there and just talk for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be shy. Sometimes I interrupt people. I've probably done that 1,000 times to you. So I can't say that I don't look at that as an attention thing. It's like my brain's thinking so fast. And I'm like, oh, let me chime in real quick before I forget.
One thing I've noticed about you and Scott, and I don't know if you've noticed this or if it even registers, because you guys have been together 25
Almost
years.
25
Yeah,
years.
almost
Yeah.
25 years. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I giggle about it a lot. And like, you'll be talking, and then he has something to chime in to say about it. And he just talks right over you, but you keep talking.
Yes,
So,
because I'm
like,
trying to drown him out. Because I'm like, this is my story. I'm gonna keep going.
and then, but you do the same thing to him
I
too.
do.
So,
And then he's like, "Are you gonna fuck this chicken or me?" And I was like, "I guess you're fucking the chicken. Go ahead."
right. So I know every once in a while you guys will just be talking, and I'm like, who do I look at? Like, which one are we? I'm just gonna. The person who started the story is the one I'm gonna listen
Right.
to. But yeah, it's so funny because
That is
like
funny.
you'll just like, and then it won't even necessarily be a story sometimes too. Like he'll just like swoop in and talk over, or you just talk over him, and like then you just keep going like nothing happened. Like usually
We don't skip a beat.
no,
We
you
just
don't. Like usually if I'm talking and then I'll wait and then Brian will talk and he'll wait. And like I don't think Brian and I talk over each other. Unless it's
I
kind of
wonder
like a
sometimes if
silly
well, I just did it then.
yeah.
I wonder if it's like I was pretty much an only child. I was raised as a single child. And so maybe it's because I feel like my voice is the only voice. Gosh, that sounds narcissistic. Oh, way to go, Cheryl. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
mean,
be watching though myself and
mhm.
him next
I
time.
know. It's I mean, I giggle about it, so it's not like it's not a big deal. Like it
Well,
doesn't
we never get
matter
mad
in
at
the
each
long
other
run.
about it.
No, you
Well,
don't.
sometimes like if we stop and it's like, who's talking? Who's talking? But it's
Um
like we just keep going. We don't get mad. We're just like, this is my story.
sorry, yeah. And then I mean, you both just keep talking like nothing happened. And I'm like, what?
We know too much about each other.
Right.
I think that's what it boils down to.
Probably.
All of my stories are his stories, and all of his stories are my stories, unless something has happened that we're not there for. And at that point, it's like, I'm not going to speak because I have no idea. Like,
Right.
I can't give you details.
Um but also like Scott is basically an only child too though. Like he wasn't really raised with either of his siblings.
So, Scott is 8 years older? No.
I don't know.
Yes. He's like 8 years older than his brother.
Yeah. So by the time you're eight,
But it was a
though,
big age gap. So they didn't, like with my kids, they were 2.5 years apart. So they tend to have like the same friends sometimes and um, hang out. And whenever they were little, they would play a lot together. So yeah, he didn't have that. So maybe yeah.
yeah. So I mean, he probably has a lot of the only child tendencies. Oh, maybe that's the next podcast. It's like birth order and only children versus.
I was the first grandchild too, and I was the only grandchild till I was 10.
That's why you and my niece probably get along because she
Yeah.
was like the first grandchild for a little while. So yeah. So yeah, like I just think it's funny that between you two, you were both very extroverted when you are like together.
Yes.
Like that.
Only if you go with me, and like I'll say it, like if it's got social work stuff, because I don't want to do anything that's going to embarrass him. And sometimes I don't think before I speak. So I really am analyzing myself in those moments. In those moments, you would see a different side because it's people that I don't truly know. I may know of them. I may have had like lunch with them, with him, or something like that, but it's been very small and not like hanging out.
Right.
So, hanging out, I would say, if you know me personally, then you do recognize my extrovertness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I try to be extroverted when it suits me the best. And that's probably narcissistic, and I get it.
It's
Like,
okay.
I
Everybody's
know,
got some
we
tendencies.
all do, but it's like when it fits the situation that I'm in.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I could just like hole up in with my blanket and not talk to people for a week, that is awful. Like, it suits me very well.
That's my traveling habits. Like I like to travel with my own pillow, my own blanket, so that whenever I have my own downtime, I have my belongings and it makes me feel comfortable and makes me reset. And if I travel and I can't take it, then I'm like,
Right.
I don't ever feel like I get that reset. Which, speaking of, I read about this thing that extroverts wake up and their cup is empty, which I thought was odd.
Yeah.
But then introverts wake up and theirs is full. And I was like, okay. So the way that they broke it down is extroverts wake up and they need their that attention horse side. Like they need that interaction. They need like any kind of attention, just talking to people, interactions, whatever. And so they're looking through the day of filling that cup. Whereas an introvert, their cup's full, their energy level is here. And then as the day goes by and they do things, by the end of the day, they just feel completely drained. And so I've been on both sides of that.
Mm-hmm.
Before 2020, I would say that I was more of like woke up as an extrovert and I would look forward to like the weekend and going to do stuff and what are we going to do? Or where are we going to go eat? Who are we going to hang out with? All this kind of stuff. But after 2020, it was like, okay, I've already got this much energy and now I have to do this. And oh God, there's something else. And oh Lord, I'm still not home. And then by the time I get home, I'm like, I don't even want to do anything.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, because I have to work when I'm out. Like, literally, like, I'll be the teacher, and it takes so much out of you to, like, today I picked up my coworkers' kids from lunch. So I was suddenly in charge of 60 10-year olds.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like the amount of you it takes to take care of 60 10-year olds versus just like my normal like 25 10-year olds or whatever like that. Like, you have to use your extroverted nature to take care of them. So
Right.
by the time I get home, I am like, I need a nap. I need alone time. I need some time to decompress and sit and recharge before I can do more things.
So with you going to work during the week, how, how do you feel like your cup is though come Saturday morning? Are you looking for that like let's get up and let's get our day started and what are we going to do and who are we going to see, where are we going to go?
So no, I don't.
Okay.
The only thing that, like, we're in sports season, so like
Right.
I have to get up and go do sports. But literally, it's like, can I get McDonald's on the way? And then I will eat my McDonald's. I will cheer everyone on, and then I will go home and do my home things. Like, there is
Okay.
the only time I really seek out more of that is if like I do sometimes want that social interaction.
Right.
So I'll set up a card night
Yeah.
but I do like it when it's more spur of the moment card night versus I have invited people over from 3 weeks ago. And then like my
Right.
extroverted self, like I've seen those memes where
Oh,
it's like extroverted me planned this and introverted me is regretting that decision.
right. I've done that. I've
So
done that. I've like planned something and in my mind I think it's great and then whenever it comes down to the day I'm like, gosh, why did I plan this? Like I don't
mm-hmm.
really like that day I woke up and I was just feeling different that day. And so then I had to be like, nope, put your big girl panties on. You got to like, you plan this. This is your thing. Stop acting like this. So I
Yeah.
just have to do it.
So I
But
would
I'm always happy afterwards.
right. Like it's nice to see people and like build better relationships with them. But it's also like, can we make this more spur of the moment? Like, are you guys more flexible than this? Like,
I know. I think that's why like our dynamic works so good is because we are so flexible with each other. That's like, hey, like, do you want to go do this? And you're like, yay or nay. And there's like no pressure, or there's not a lot of planning that goes into anything unless it's a trip that we do.
trips are different.
But even like the camping trip that we took this weekend, that was what, 5 hours away, and we planned it maybe 5 days prior.
Right. And
Like we talked about it before then, but we didn't walk into it. We were like,
no.
I don't know.
Right. And like, I didn't have a lot of time to do much planning. So, but it was really fun. Like what we
But
did.
camping, there's no planning.
Yeah, there's no real planning. And other people were happy to do the food, and I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I was just along for the journey this past time.
Well, Friday you had a very busy day.
Yes, I did.
So you had to go on a field trip. Basically, that's what I'm going to label it as, is like a field trip. But it was to Busch Gardens, and so that in itself, by the time that you got home, I didn't expect you to do anything.
Well,
The three of us had everything covered of figuring it out.
and it was really great. So thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's okay. Like pick up where other people, like, you would do it for me. So
yeah, yeah. No, I was with kids at an amusement park, and one of them I named Stompy because she just ended up stomping around the whole time. So
Stompy is going to be on an episode of Your Kid Ain't Cute.
Yeah, your kid isn't cute. Like don't send your kid to an amusement park just to stomp around behind a chaperone all day. No,
if I ever found, no, I'm not even going to get into that. That gives us an episode for another time.
But. It is. So I know we are at. Yeah, we're almost at an hour.
Was there something else? Like, let me look at my notes. I kind of
look at your notes to see if there's anything else you really want to talk about.
I feel like we covered everything. Like, I made notes in case, like, we didn't touch on it, but we definitely did.
Yeah, I think we got everything that we wanted to. But as always, like, drop us a comment, drop us a topic, let us know what you thought so that we can engage and learn more about you.
Actually, why don't we, the quiz that we took, we can link it on the podcast. That way that other people, if they're interested, they can go and take the same quiz. It's 20 questions, 3 minutes. Like, it was really fast. So
yeah, super easy. We'll link it, and I'll put our email in the bottom. And yeah, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
And cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for tuning in to the Unfiltered Duo podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. You can follow us on all social media platforms for updates, behind the scenes, and more content. Got questions, feedback, or a topic you'd love for us to cover? Reach out at unfilteredduopodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep listening.